Hi, welcome to my Reflections video, English 307 portfolio. So for this project, we were asked to make a reflective video of what we've learned during our course. I figured a good place to start would be our syllabus to see where we started 7 weeks ago versus where we are today. We were expected to learn some key points of the class, and I will be going over a few of those. To start, I'll go over the rhetoric, which was communicating with audience using various techniques and documents. So one of the biggest tools that I had with learning this was when we did our rhetorical analysis tables. It really mapped out for me what exactly the audience was, how it was going to be used, what genre you need to deliver it in, things like that. So figuring out how my document was going to be used was very helpful, because if you don't know how it's going to be used, you don't know how to really write it effectively. The process, which is the steps you carry out to organize your thoughts or data that you'll use to write your documents. So for me, one of the good documents or things that I learned during this class that helped me learn the process was when we were doing our rough drafts, primarily for Project 1. Only because it had so many small parts. You had to organize your text, you had to organize multiple documents into one. I mean, we all had to start with rough drafts. So with the process, you start by just doing a mind map and getting your basic concepts down, and then you move into formulating those drafts into like subheadings on your rough draft, and then writing paragraphs, and then pretty soon you have a rough draft that you can turn into a final draft. Infolet and management, learning how to use various information sources you will gather, analyze the sources, and use that information to write a cohesive document. So for like our project 2, when we did our anointed bibliographies, that would be a good, I guess, source or example of what the info management would be, because you have to take a plethora of different information medias and combine them into one cohesive manner. So we were doing things like websites, interviews, journals, things like that, deconstructing them, analyzing them, and then putting them back together in our proposals. Multimodal, which is the use of documents and media from multi-sources and genres to write or include in your document. So again, for Project 2, it would be a perfect example of something that was multimodal, because we were able to take things like graphics, plain text, and then the video that we had to do. So we took things from all different medias and combined them to make a multimodal project. Collaborative, working for or with others to gather information, analyze the data, and then present the information in a cohesive manner. So when we had to work for Project 2 as a team, that was a perfect example of what collaboration is supposed to be. Every member does their share, and then we combined our efforts into one. We also had to work, obviously fictitiously, but we had to interview or work with people from another country. So we had to collaborate our efforts with them in order for it to happen. Genre, which is the style of writing that reflects what you want to portray, that's reflected in your writing. So we did this multiple times throughout the semester, where we had to make sure that our context matched our audience, which is, to me, that's your genre. So if you're writing, let's first say, our resume, you would not want to keep it in an informal genre. You want to keep it in the formal genre. When we did our Project 2, it was more of a technical genre versus what we would maybe write if we were just writing to our instructor. Ethics. Not divulging inappropriate or personal information, and always taking into account the reactions of your audience. So when we did our gathering our information, and when we were writing our proposals for Project 2, I think that's where ethics really came into play for me. When you're working for people from another country, you have to be very careful and considerate not to divulge information that might be embarrassing, maybe of their culture, or that's going to reflect embarrassingly of yourself. And also, just when you're working with others, like when we were working together within our peers, if we did threads, you just want to keep it within a good ethical code, meaning you don't call each other names, you don't call each other out for the simplest things, you try to be supporting and uplifting. 4 pieces of course-related work that helped me the most. I would probably have to say doing our rough draft, our peer reviews, communication with the instructor, and then our in-class activities. Our peer reviews really helped me to step outside the box and maybe see things that I might have missed, see it from a different perspective, and then I was able to take that constructive criticism and turn it around to form a much polished version of what I wanted to write. Of course, practice makes perfect, so anything that we've done in the class, the homeworks or anything like that, that really helped to drive home any of the ideas that the instructor was trying to teach us. And then I found one of the chapters in our technical communications book very helpful. It was working with time constraints, because being that I have young kids at home, sometimes my time constraints can greatly affect my ability to do my homework. And so reading through that chapter greatly helped me rewrite a schedule that worked for me in order to get my schoolwork done. And then things I learned about myself as a writer, or my surprising strength during this course, was that I'm very, very good at brainstorming, and I'm very good at constructing a project, but I still struggle at learning how to start it, and it takes me several rough drafts to learn how to turn around and write a final draft, and I suck at doing grammar. So I think moving forward in any other classes, I'm definitely going to have to work on the grammar portion of it, which would play into the process portion of this class. Definitely polish my process. Maybe even make a rhetorical analysis table for myself every time and kind of play off of that. So I hope you enjoyed my analysis video and that it was helpful for you.